The Star Wars community needs this. Now, this is going to be a game that I'm talking about, not a specific game like Battlefront 3, Fallen Order, but a game idea. Now, what I'm talking about is a multiplayer game just like Battlefront 2, not like Fallen Order where it's a single player game. We need a multiplayer game because we haven't gotten that apart from Battlefront 1 and 2, and the reason why we need one like this is because we're gonna have a lot, and we already quite have a decent amount of single player games. Now these are great. I personally am not the biggest fan, but they've been well received, and that's a good thing, right? Anything that's pro Star Wars games, I'm gonna like it because that means we're probably gonna get a Battlefront 3 or more Star Wars games, which I'm a big Star Wars fan, so that's a pro for me. But we generally really need soon a new multiplayer game, Star Wars related, because Battlefront 2 is great, don't get me wrong, but if we don't get any multiplayer Star Wars games, I can't see the franchise for whoever's going to make the new Star Wars games to be that popular. Because right now it's not fully dying off, but it kind of is, and it's going to go back up whenever the new Fallen Order comes out or any type of single player games. But like I've repeated before, these single player games are great for the first week or however long it takes you to complete. After that you can do the mission again, but that's it. That's literally it. Maybe there's a 1v1 mode that you can do with your friends, but are you really going to spend like an entire year just doing 1v1s? Like we've all spent more than a year at least on Battlefront 2, and it's still fun to this day. I don't think many people can say that about Fallen Order and all these games. And if you really want, which is what I do, I don't even buy the game. I wait a couple days after the game comes out and I look up 4K cutscenes of Fallen Order, and boom, it's pretty much like a movie, and I pretty much know everything about the game. Sure, I don't experience it, but to be honest, I don't really care. But from multiplayer Star Wars games, we need a new one, whether it's Battlefront 3 or a new version of the Battlefronts, but it's multiplayer. We need some kind of multiplayer Battlefront, variant, I guess you could say, of Battlefront, because that way it'll keep the Star Wars community fan base active. With Fallen Order, it was active for like a solid month with Easter eggs and stuff. After that, you're not even hearing about Fallen Order right now. Maybe the new one, because it makes sense, it's a new game, you're obviously going to hear about it. But you're hearing more from Battlefront 2, a dead game, since 2020. It's literally been 3 years since it's been dead, and you're still hearing more about it now than Fallen Order and all these single player games. Like I said before, these are not terrible games, but they're not keeping the community alive unlike these games. So imagine if they make a new multiplayer Star Wars game. Imagine that. You saw how well Battlefront 2 was received. Imagine a new one, or a new Battlefront 3, or a new version of these games where it's, I don't know, not something like Squadron. Squadron was ass. It was a multiplayer Star Wars game, but that doesn't count. That was just a total flop. Nobody cares, and nobody will ever care. That's how bad it is. And I'm pretty sure you've already forgotten about it until I brought it up now. But yeah, the community desperately needs a new EA or whoever, Rockstar Games. It needs to be a multiplayer Star Wars game. It can't be a single player one, because we already have a bunch incoming already. We have plenty of them to come. We don't have any multiplayer ones though. Tell me what you think.